we go. I just have to make sure the audio was good because I was like, hold on, let me unplug this because usually I need a new mic. I need a new mic. Your boy, you look, it's about that time. Like it's really about that time at this point. Your boy needs a new mic. Your boy got to get his life together. But at the end of the day, just looking at social media, seeing if we're on, seeing if we're looking good, sounding good. And of course, that's always true. You know, that's always true when you're dealing with, of course, the heel turn. And by the way, hello all and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. And man, hold on. Before we continue on, you know, I was like, before we continue, because usually we have a lot of foolishness. Usually we clown. We have a whole lot of fun, you know, especially spreading a bunch of nonsense with the world. But of course, today's a holiday. You know, like today's a really, really important holiday. And of course, that's because it's your boy Devin Lee Crimes' birthday. Devin Lee Crimes Jr., of course, celebrating the birthday. My man's old. I'm telling you, like I know he's feeling it in his back, his legs, his hip. You know, it's just like the whole 9 yards. I know my man's is in pain because of the work that he puts in, of course, on the regular. And of course, just in general, like this man, Devin, has just been a legend, of course, and it's just been a blessing to this podcast as well. I mean, you can always count on Devin, you know, for anything in life. And I'm just talking about, the reason why I'm going on, you know, in this intro is because I had a post that was supposed to be here. But right now I currently can't find it. Let me see. No. No. Oh, was it this one? Let's see. I want to actually share this real fast. This is old. You know, I was like, this is a bit old. But this was one that we made a couple years ago. Hey man, this gotta be I forgot what day that was. It was a day that we had to dress up, and yeah, Devin dressed up as John C. That was high school. That was senior. I think that was senior year Devin Lee Crimes. Yeah, matter of fact, let's see it again. Just because look, it's your boy's birthday. I know he's living his best life. Look, if we go here or not here, we gonna celebrate my man's. I don't care. You know, it's like I don't care. You can call it cringe. You might call it suspect. I don't care. That's my brother, and we're gonna talk about it for a minute. Look, here we go. So look, man, I know you chilling. I know you living your best life, having the time of your life at the crib. I don't know if he's probably still at work, just now getting off work. I ain't doxing my man. I was like, I ain't doxing you. But Devin, I hope you have an amazing birthday and an amazing time at the crib. Of course, not only do we love you here at the Heel Turn, of course, they love you at Circle of Debate. You know, we just love you in the podcasting realm. And of course, just keep up the firework, brother. Keep up the firework as always. And we gotta get into AEW Dynamite, man. We gotta jump into AEW Dynamite. Let's stop that. We gotta get to AEW Dynamite. I was like, let's just stop all that. So just getting into it. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli took on Konosuke Takeshita and Hechicero. And I do love me some Cesaro. Like Cesaro always, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Claudio always wins me over when he steps into the ring. That man he could just go with anybody. And so, him putting on a good match isn't really shocking to me at all. None, it doesn't shock me whatsoever. So, it's Jon Moxley that sometimes shocks me because Jon Moxley goes in there and sometimes just don't want to sell for nobody, and the matches just come out looking worse than what they already, were playing out to be. And so Jon Moxley and Claudio, I definitely think is a really solid tag team and could do some damage if they do want to step into the tag team picture as well. And Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley got the win as well over the Don Callis family, of course, with Hechicero and Takeshita. Love me some Takeshita as well. Konosuke Takeshita has just been an absolute dog. I wish he would have won that match against Okada, but that was just great storytelling. Kazuchika Okada gets the screwdriver out of the turnbuckle, hits Konosuke Takeshita and gets the win. And then, of course, Kyle Fletcher, he goes to look for the screwdriver early on, and he's like, where the hell's my screwdriver? Okada used it earlier. It's just like that's storytelling right there. You can't beat that. That's one thing that was really, really dope about. That's one of the many things that was dope about that pay-per-view. But Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli get the win over Hechicero and Konosuke Takeshita. I love all four in this matchup, so I got zero complaints. I was definitely entertained throughout the entirety of this match, at least. And of course, Konosuke Takeshita taking on Jon Moxley is always going to get a huge pop from the fans as well. Marina Shafir gets on my last nerves, but I know why she's there. It's like I definitely know why she's there. And of course, her finisher, I think, is sick as well. You're not going to see that anywhere else. And of course, her dominance. It looks like she's just reigning supreme without even having to fight consistently, I guess you could say. Like, if I'm being honest, we don't really see much of Marina Shafir, like wrestling a whole lot, being put on that Willow Nightingale schedule, being put on that Mercedes Moné schedule, even getting put on that Athena schedule. It's like we're not really seeing a whole lot of that from Marina Shafir. So hopefully, we pick up the pace, with her in-ring work, which we haven't been seeing a decent amount from Marina Shafir. I just want to see a little bit more as well. Of course, we had the TNT Championship match. Kyle Fletcher took on Speedball Mike Bailey, and I'm sorry, I'm a Speedball Mike Ball. I'm Speedball Mike Ball. I'm a Speedball Mike Bailey hater. Like, I just don't see the hype around this dude. He's athletic, like he's uber athletic, and he's uber talented in the ring. I'm giving you that, but he just hasn't won me over in terms of everything else all around. It's just like he hasn't won me over in no way whatsoever. And that's just unfortunate. Maybe if I see a little bit more of Speedball Mike Bailey and I just stop being a hater and watch with some like how I am with Kenny Omega. Like, at first I was just like, man, I don't want to see nothing from Kenny. Can I get on my last nerves? Like, he annoys me to all in. And then after a while, I'm just like, you know what? This man's matches ain't that bad. I haven't warmed up to some other guys, and I'll talk about a little bit later. But Kenny Omega, man, I'm intrigued with Kenny Omega, and I love the work that Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland. I loved every bit of. So look, I ain't got no problem with Kenny at all. Speedball Mike Bailey definitely do. Speedball, just not a huge fan of. I want Kevin Knight to turn on him and just to be the ultimate face, kind of not necessarily be like a Swerve Strickland Jr. because you're just a black heel. It's just like at the end of the day, you're just another black heel in AEW. But I do want Kevin Knight to just go off on his own and to kind of shake off and get away from Speedball Mike Bailey, just to give him, a little bit of road to success instead of having to pretty much ride on the coattails of everybody else. So, or Speedball Mike Bailey and Hangman Page, and what I mean by everybody else. So, honestly, I definitely want to give the nod to Kyle Fletcher, because I do like me some Kyle Fletcher. I think Kyle Fletcher is just a badass dude, especially after he shaved the head. Of course, it was beating on Will Ospreay, one of his bestest friends, one of his best friends, one of his closest friends. I think that's pretty dope. I think you can't go wrong with the Kyle Fletcher. I'm sorry, I was reading my notifications. I'm glad that Team USA get to advance, of course, in the WBC. I was watching Italy versus Mexico before I went on, and man, I was just hoping and praying that not if Italy got the win or at least Mexico scored more than 4 runs. I was going all over the place. Like, it was just I was dealing with a huge wave of emotions here. The same way I'm gonna be dealing with the same wave of emotions if the Chicago Bears end up with Max Crosby, but we ain't gonna get into that either. I'm speaking into existence, but we ain't gonna get into that just now. Definitely ain't gonna get into that just now. But Brody King took on somebody and beat somebody within 30 seconds, honestly. But as he was walking out of the ring and walking back to the entranceway, there was a fan that came out with a chain and wrapped it around his neck, and Brody King's just fighting for it. And then, of course, you see the black hands, you see the hands of a brother, and of course, it's Swerve Strickland trying to strangle the life out of Brody King, and Brody King just turns into the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, just rips the chains off, and I thought that was actually pretty savage. It was pretty savage. It's not like Mark Henry type, where Mark Henry is like yanking on this chain that won't break, And he's like, "Oh man, this isn't a gimmick chain. Like this is actually a real chain. Okay, I'm the world's strongest man. I'm gonna, it's like let's get it cracking then." And he broke the chain. Like we're not gonna see that from, but we possibly could see that from Brody. I'm not trying to put Brody King's strength, up for question. We possibly could, but I definitely think this adds a lot to their who's the baddest man in AEW. I think that adds a lot to the story and what we're getting here. So hell, let's go for it. It's just like let's go all in for it. I'm down completely. You had Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on Gabe Kidd and David Finlay. And even though I'm not too big on Orange Cassidy, I don't care for Orange Cassidy. Like I don't mind watching him. I don't care what he do. And a huge shout out to Ivan. Huge shout out to the Devious One Ivan for liking the live on Facebook. And a huge shout out to Circle of Debate. I don't know if they're still on, but they were just on YouTube Live. You can subscribe to them. Subscribe to your boys. The Notorious Dom had a birthday not just yesterday. So a huge shout out to Notorious Dom. Also got a nephew birthday as well, man. Jonah, man, my little nephew, man. I gotta make a phone call when this whole thing is over with as well. My little nephew got a whole birthday going on. He a grown man. Like it's just like I ain't got too much to say about him because I don't want to dump, but man, he a grown man. Man, love that kid with a passion. But we got Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on Gabe Kidd and Dave Finlay. But of course, Gabe Kidd still showing that he's ruthless, still showing that he's kind of like and I ain't trying to say like a John Moxley Jr. or New Japan, John Moxley, but he's definitely looking like it. He's him and John Moxley are really, really similar. That's why it's kind of hard, to see them bang it out 1v1 and to not root for one or the other. It's just like they're kind of one and the same in my eyes. But of course, you had Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. I do love me some Darby Allin. Darby Allin just looks like he's gonna risk his life to do absolutely anything and everything. But unfortunately, it's all for naught because Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy do, of course, suffer a loss in this match. Because Clark Connors came out with a tire iron and just absolutely laid out. I believe he laid out Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin, of course, took the Dominator and Kid power drive the absolute dog crapped out of him to get him out of there. Unfortunate, but man, like I said, this only adds on to Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd because they're kind of in that Swerve Strickland Brody King storyline where it's pretty much I'm the baddest man here. It's like, no, I'm a bad motherfucker. It's like I can care less. I crash out on individuals. I get kicked out of Ubers. It's just like you don't know me, brother. It's like you have no idea who I am, man. I'm straight. You don't got to worry about anything about what I got going on. Okay. All right, I'm about to be childish here. I'm about to be childish. Willow Nightingale took on Persephone. And I don't know who Persephone is, but I want to. Let me tell you, Persephone is an absolute dog. I feel like I've done this before. Have I done this before? Am I having deja vu here? Because I feel like I've seen this lady wrestle. I feel like I've talked about her before, and I made the same joke. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do it again because look, she is a good one. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. But outside of that, I'm sorry, I'm done being a demon here for a split second. But she took on Willow Nightingale, and this was still, I thought, was a battle of strengths. And on top of that, Persephone was just absolutely athletic, picking up Willow Nightingale, flipping her over the shoulder, and still keeping up. It's still pretty tough. And I believe they said she was 24 years old. I'll be either 22 or 24 years old. Still insanely young, of course. A lot of people would say that this is, a person's stepping stone, a young wrestler stepping stone, into WWE, which a lot of wrestlers shouldn't even see it that way either. Because if you want to work less and still get paid a buku amount of money and potentially find a whole lot of success, AEW is definitely the way to go, especially if you want to start young in your career. So honestly, I definitely think Persephone is going to do some great work here in AEW, even though she lost by a roll-up pin. I still think Persephone is going to do amazing work. And Jesus Christ, I love her. I was just like, I love her, man. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting off. Boing, boing. I'm getting off of it. I'm sorry. But outside of Persephone and the great work that she does, apparently always, from my first time seeing her, FTR and Tommaso Ciampa took on the Young Bucks and Mark Briscoe in our main event of the evening. And And like I said, as I talked about earlier, there's some people that I just can't. They just can't win me over, and that's the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks just can't win me over at all. They get on my absolute last nerves because it seems like they have an absolute excuse for everything. They have an absolute excuse for everything, and it's annoying. Like the down year that they had when a lot of fans weren't really interested with what they had going on, with a lot of the fans kind of being uninterested with the storylines that they were involved with. They turn around in the interview and say, "Oh yeah, well you guys fell for that gimmick. Like we were pretending, to not know how to wrestle." Who does that? It's like who does that? That doesn't even make any sense. We were pretending to not know how to wrestle. It's like we weren't tumbling, we weren't taking dives, we were purposely being boring, and you guys fell for it. Like who? If that isn't, that's a load of that's bull, right? That's just bull. And honestly, that's just cope. That's just a lot of cope. And you can't accept the fact that a lot of people were just soured on your 7-year stick that just gone old. Like it got old. It completely got old. And the Young Bucks and of course, you got your ass beat by CM Punk. On top of that, CM Punk just absolutely dog walked you. And of course, RIP to Larry, but Larry also dog walked you too. It's just like you took it from CM Punk, A Steel, and Larry. And y'all got dog walked, if I'm being honest with you. And then your boy got in front of CM Punk and of course got choked out. So it's just like, come on. And then y'all tried to, of course, put it out and make it seem like this was not necessarily a travesty, but it made it seem like Tony Khan had a reason to be scared for his life. Like CM Punk lunged at Tony Khan, and CM Punk goozled Jack Perry, and in actuality, no, Jack Perry and CM Punk were having a conversation. They was face to face. CM Punk pushed him, walked him down, and choked him out. And not necessarily choked him out, but got him in a headlock. Like he didn't choke him out. If anything, he just held him. He just held him there. He could have gave him a noogie while he was at it, if I'm being honest with you. That's what he should have did. That's what CM Punk should have did to Jack Perry, give him one of these, back in the day. But it just showed how soft that AEW was. And that was all the Young Bucks' fault. And I'm putting the footage being released to the public. I'm putting that on the Young Bucks and Tony Khan, honestly. And the Young Bucks keep doing things that it feels like to me just lead to absolutely nothing. It leads absolutely nowhere. They keep getting broke. Now they're rich again. They win these matches when you win a whole lot of money, millions of dollars, $500. Like Tony Khan has this $500,000 match, tag team match. Tony Khan has this $500. Let me read through this. Tony Khan has this $500,000 tag team match. Tony Khan has this $500,000 trios tag team match. The Young Bucks win it. And then they blow it all in a casino. Now they're the broke Bucks, and it's like a fluctuation. And then, of course, they beat the hell out of the owner of Tony Khan as well. They have all these storylines that a lot of people aren't interested in, and then it gets dropped with the quickness, and we're wondering why. It's just like, it's not. Actually, nobody's wondering why, because they suck to begin with. We should stop caring. It's just like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just like we just stopped caring in totality. The Young Bucks are boring. In my eyes, the Young Bucks are boring. It's the same old shtick 24/7, the same old referee. It's just rinse, wash, rinse, and repeat. The same old thing with the Young Bucks. It gets boring, it's watered down, it's old, it's stale, it's dry. I mean, what other adjective? What other word can I use to describe what the Young Bucks are right now? Unwatchable. It's just like, I got you right there. Unwatchable. Dead. How about that? Dead. I could go on all day with this, but outside of that, look, it's just, everything is just sour. Everything is just, I'm just soured. I'm soured on the Young Bucks, so I'm actually glad that they lost this match, even though it technically wasn't necessarily their fault. They lost this match. I hope FTR gets rid of them too. Hope FTR gets them a huge kick in the ass and gets them at least on a little mini vacation like they have been doing as of late, just getting out of our faces for a little bit. Of course, Hangman Page and MJF had a work press conference. And granted, I'll give it to AEW. They used names like Denise Salcedo, they use no DQ, I believe. Like, they had sources. and they have voices to use. But man, this is work. Can anybody tell me or show me what press conference has camera cuts? It's like I ain't never seen a press conference that had a camera cut back to back to back. And so I don't know how they did it, and of course you see the 4 people with their heads over. And of course, their press conferences looks nothing like that, And I'm not saying that because, and I'm not saying that like, oh, well, we've been there because we know it's not nothing like that. It's just if you watch it on YouTube, it's nothing like that. It's like it's nothing like that. If you ever seen the press conference for Brawl Out, if you've seen the press conference for World's End just recently, nothing like it's nothing like what they just did right there. And of course, it bled to them fighting, of course, and going out into the crowd. But at the end of the day, I still have full faith that MJF is going to win, and he's going to make Adam Page eat those words that he is going to never challenge for the AEW championship if he loses. And I hope he do loses because you're stupid. It's just like, I hope you do lose because you're stupid. Who makes that? Like, I understand, like Cody Rhodes did it for a reason. Cody Rhodes is like, hey man, I have a huge position at AEW. I'm one of the what do they call them? The VPs. I'm one of the VPs here in AEW. I already have a high power. And at this point in time, I feel like me being AEW champion is just, I feel like that's a little grimy. It's just like, and that's just me putting words in Cody Rhodes' mouth. But I do feel like he felt as if it would have looked wrong or it looked weird if he would have held the title, in that sense. And so he did it. And so he made that stipulation. And of course, he tried to make himself be the baby face, make him be the hero. Jim Cornette had the joke that his daughter saved racism, because of course his daughter is mixed, him and Brady Rhodes. But that was a funny story in itself. But honestly, just seeing the work that Cody Rhodes did in AEW, and of course behind the scenes and on the camera as well, he made the decision. I'm not going to challenge for the AEW title, and he tried to make a storyline, tried to make an intriguing storyline out of it. Hangman Page ain't doing that. I'm sorry, this isn't an intriguing storyline. And of course, you have the Texas Death Match hanging over MJF's head too. MJF is a smarmy individual. I don't care how smart you think you are. And I'm just talking about how MJF has portrayed himself as a character throughout this time. It doesn't matter how smart you are or what you do throughout this time. MJF is going to find some way to weasel his way into a victory. Because at the end of the day, MJF is like made it be known. Like, he'll slime out his own grandma if he has to. Like, come on now. Like, MJF has let it be known. Like, he'll beat down his parents. It's like he'll do whatever he can to get what he wants. And so Hangman Page thinking he has the ups on MJF or anybody, even when CM Punk thought he had the ups on MJF, I was like, man, when MJF came out, well, you hurt me. I'm just a Jew boy from New York. I'm just like, brother, don't do that. It's just like the CM Punk is just like, oh, well, Maxie, well, you were just my fan. And what did MJF do? He had CM Punk over there bloodied up on a chain. It was vicious. It was gnarly. That was when I realized, the AEW putting in some damage. Like, that was when CM Punk had, like, hate him or love him, the best storylines was when CM Punk was there. Now, granted, I started watching when CM Punk showed up, like literally day of when CM Punk showed up. That's when I consistently started watching AEW. But I can't think of anything iconic beforehand, before CM Punk came in. And if you can, please let me know. But I haven't thought of any. I couldn't think of anything, or I could go back and watch anything that was anything like that. So honestly, that was AEW. It was a solid AEW Dynamite. I still had fun watching it. I'm not gonna say that I sat here and just completely crapped on the whole show. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I got no complaints. No complaints whatsoever. I just can't wait for Revolution. I'm going to be working during Revolution, so there's not going to be a Revolution review. I'll probably maybe go over it when I get off of work on Monday. But as of Sunday or Saturday, Sunday when it comes on, I'm not going to be able to review it until the next day later on. So be on the lookout for that still regardless. Actually, I might just review it when I review Monday Night Raw that next day. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, if you're watching and you haven't already, give my man's Devin a huge happy birthday shout out. Send my man some love. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.